what's happening? I have to wait a few minutes because somehow my voice gets all muted out right after the bumper goes away. I don't know why it does it, but it makes kind of sense. Welcome, everybody, to Wednesday Night Live. It's just me and Tim today. Just me and Tim.
Just us guys.
That's it. It's just us. Tom is working. Brian is late. And actually, we're going to have Daniel come and join us. Daniel's going to take Tom's place hopefully for the next 2 weeks. I think Tom is gone next week as well, right? I think so.
Yeah, Tom's off being a big boy. Had to put on his big boy jeans and work a real job.
He had to tie his shoelaces.
John and I are the only two that just don't have lives. That's what it boils down to. Yeah, we just have nothing fucking better to do.
God damn, you just wait until I get a new girlfriend. I'm out of here.
Yeah, exactly. We won't be able to. Yeah, John won't be able to talk to anybody. You know, he'll have a joint Facebook account with his new girlfriend.
Yeah. Oh God, never would I ever do that. I mean, I get it, but obviously someone has some issues in that relationship, and a lot of it has to do with trust, I guess. I don't know. Facebook has been bad. I mean,
hey, Phil.
We've all, hello to everybody out there. Luke, yep. Green Thumb, Phil, everybody, Jeff.
Jeff Danny Boy.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird since you've been on for a long time, right? I mean, how long you been since the beginning of Facebook?
No. So I don't want to say I was a late bloomer to Facebook, but I was a little bit later jumping into the fray because the relationship I was in at the time, she had trust issues, so I was not allowed to be on social media.
That's
Ironically, she was allowed to.
Yeah.
She could be on social media all damn day, however, whatever she wanted to do. Me? So when that relationship started to disintegrate, that's when I finally...
And then you graced your presence on Facebook.
MySpace first, and then...
Yeah, MySpace. Oh, you went that route. Yeah.
Well, I did MySpace because that at the time, that was kind of like the people that I was closest to in the vicinity were doing. And then I quickly found out that there was this whole other contingent of people that would not do MySpace. They would only do Facebook. So, eventually I had to break down and have two accounts. And, the rest is now MySpace is basically it's there, but I don't know that people actually use it. So
yeah, I don't know my password. I tried to log in the other day and then I couldn't remember which email address I used to make it with. So.
Yeah, I think you can recover your old account. I don't know what stuff is still there. There's a way to do it, but it's irrelevant. I mean,
yeah. So how's Tim doing this week? You want to share some exciting news?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I mentioned it to the group last week. I found a way to find myself being gainfully employed after a significant amount of time, and so I started my new job this week. Yep, it's I'd love to tell you it's a 9 to 5er, but it's not. It's a 7 to 4:30er.
Perfect time start.
Yeah, man. So I have to get up early now, which is different.
Get up early now.
I actually have to get up early now. I can't sleep in and just sort of slowly get into the roll of things. I have to be up and on the road no later than about
It's been a long time. Well, it's been over a year, right? So it was. Did you that first night? Did you like I'm going to bed early. I'm going to do this right.
I mean, I think to some degree, I think my body's pretty accustomed to kind of just rolling with the punches. I think the hardest part is the fact that even when I was employed before, I was working from home. Yeah. Now I actually have to get up and go to an office, that's the strangest part for me. It's not having a job. It's not being busy or being, locked down for 8 or 9 hours a day. It's the fact that I actually do have to travel. So that's new. That's a new one.
That's good. I'm glad you're back to work. You're making your own lunches. It's been a while, right? You never made your lunch for work. And
well, no, now I can just ball out at lunch and go, a mile around the corner. And I got all the horrific fast food that you could ever imagine.
Well, the fun part is just being around other people. With even though it's been COVID, you did work at home before. With the COVID, well, you guys weren't really in a lot of lockdowns, so you were kind of being able to go out and do things. But just being around people again has got to be good. got to be a good feeling.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to be back in an office environment and have that kind of camaraderie and interaction. Actually, no, Theo,
No,
we have not. No,
not yet. Not
no,
yet.
no. We're talking about figuring out a way to do that. So
Yeah.
you come back one show and we'll be making grimacy faces
Yeah.
over some nasty juices.
We got to get Daniel to make them for us. Daniel needs to make us some nasty stuff and send it to us. We'll pay for the flavors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did have fries today. I'll admit I did make a mad dash. I was like, there's got to be some fast food joints around here, and so I found the Mecca about a mile away.
the
Yeah.
Mecca block of
Yeah.
fast food
Yeah,
restaurants.
it was like, just sort of like this. The sea opens up and it's like Burger King, Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, Taco Smell. Like the whole nine are all right there in the same area.
Yeah.
Arby's. You name it, they were all right there. So.
Which one do I want to shit in 48 hours? Is what you gotta
Not Taco. Well, that would have been Taco Bell. That's an easy decision.
Yeah.
But I did not have Taco Bell.
No, you didn't have Taco Bell. Well, we got a pretty good show for you guys today. I was sitting there. We kind of talked about this in the Example Box family page, and it always comes up. With hand checks, it's amazing when I see some hand checks and people pairing stuff with their vapes, and I love seeing that. Whether it's food, whether it's drinks, I think it's great that you can pair those. What did I miss?
He's trying to get my Aloha to turn off the lights.
Yeah. So
Too bad she doesn't read, Theo.
So we'd like to hear from you guys. Tell us what you guys are pairing your e-liquids with. Whether it's your tobacco flavor paired with. I like have a couple tobacco vapes that I love pairing with with a decent scotch or a certain glass of wine. But I'm kind of curious, what are you guys out there pairing your stuff with? Tim, what do you still pair at all?
I used to try to be creative in that regard. Like, I think for me, the one that I really tried to target was not so much like the wine to something type vapes, but I would always try to do like whatever went well with my coffee in the morning.
Right.
What would it be, like a desserty kind of vape, like a Cinnarroll, or and then when the barista stuff kind of showed up on the landscape, it was like, do I want like the scone, or do I want the cheese, the raspberry Danish, or something like that? So I think maybe I worked on that one. Ironically, what it boiled down to and ended up being was a coffee vape with coffee.
Coffee.
Yeah, I don't know how that worked out, but beyond that, I never really tried to do like, what goes well with dinner. I think if anything, I just tried to find like the perfect sort of like post meal kind of vape or something,
You kind of still have all those flavors floating around in your mouth when you're eating. So I've seen people do it, and I never understood it even when I was a smoker. Tim and I are both children of the 70s, so we've actually been in restaurants where people were actually smoking while food was being served. And
how many of you in the chat can say you actually could smoke on an airplane?
Yeah, on an airplane.
I did that.
Yeah.
Try that. That's weird.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
There's nothing weirder than that feeling. And when you're a kid, I mean, in the 70s, you didn't have any rights. You couldn't say, "Hey, sir, can you put out that cigarette?" It wasn't going to happen. But yet, you had all this food coming to your table, and I remember people, sipping their coffee, having a cigarette, taking a bite out of their apple pie, hitting their cigarette, and it never made any sense to me. Not that I don't think I do that even with my food today with my vape. I may eat my food and then, start vaping, but I'm not vaping and eating at the same time. Like I remember people in the 70s doing with their cigarettes. It was really weird just seeing them put them out, right there and at the table. It was just strange.
Yeah.
So what do we got here? We got spicy butterscotch and morning coffee. That sounds fucking good.
Yeah. See, something like that, like something semi-desserty or kind of like donut shoppy, kind of tasting to kind of go with the coffee, something like that.
Yeah, coffee's going to be the big one because I think a lot of times that's the start of our day, and we got our vape, and most of us, I'm going to assume I am because it's sitting right at my nightstand when I get out of bed. But that's the first thing I kind of grab, and I'll take that first kind of hit and I'll blow it up, and I'm still laying on my bed, and I just wait for the vapor to come down, and I got to get up. Then it's just like that vapor comes falling down. I was
Yeah.
like, all right, I got to get up, and I'll just kind of get up into it. But yeah, it's just having that coffee and then having that vape and mixing those two together. I'm kind of like Tim the same way. I started out, with raspberry cream danishes and then scone stuff, and then pies and stuff like that. Donut. I thought for sure, okay, if I could find a great maple bar donut vape and pair it with my coffee, I was gonna be in heaven. It was gonna be
Right.
the 15 minutes of heaven. But I seem to have gone that same route where I'm grabbing the salted caramel macchiato while
Yeah.
I'm drinking my cup of
Yeah.
coffee.
I don't know what it is about that one particular flavor, but like it does. Even if you've got like the most boring ass coffee at
Ooh,
home, you throw that in the mix, and it just like takes the whole experience up a notch. So you're like you can you can wrestle past the Folgers,
yeah.
experience. You know what I mean?
Experience. That sounds like a good combo there. A nice smoked brisket with a fruit vape. Yeah, I could dig that. Daniel, get your ass in here, boy.
He's picking up the kid.
And here's another. I mean, bourbon, scotch. We're all drinkers. I mean, we drink beer. I really haven't, kind of figured out what works well with beer. And I guess it kind of makes it a little harder because some of us drink some really dark IPAs and some drink light beers. But not that I would want to pair a Coors Light with something, but I guess you could. I mean, something fruity. I guess lime. I don't know.
Well, I think that's probably the bigger challenge, and it seems like what most people try to do is pair it with alcohols.
Yeah.
Because that is typically what the one sort of home based kind of thing that smoking was all about, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you smoked on the regular, but it tended to be more of a thing when you were drinking. Even if you increased the number of cigarettes that you smoked, like if you're drinking, you were smoking. And now with vaping, it adds a whole nother layer to it in the sense that if you're drinking a great microbrew IPA or some kind of a cider or something, you know what I mean, then you kind of have that fun element of adding your vape to it because you're going to vape and drink. You might as well have something that goes really well hand in hand.
Yeah. Cola. What is that one? I just saw one, and oh yeah, because this is a big one. Because a lot of us are drinking tea, and that was one of the questions on here. Let me pull the page up. This is why I had this idea, and then actually there's a page dedicated to this. Quit flashing, and I will put the link to the page here. Let me copy that and move it over here.
Are these actual documented pairings that vapors have detailed?
Yeah, it kind of breaks it down, what to pair with wine pairing with tobacco flavors, which makes sense. I mean, I've done a couple wine. I love wine. I love red wine, and I found that a couple fruit ones that I have enjoyed that kind of really enhances the red wine that I'm drinking. God damn it, now I can't remember the name, but a grapefruit and stuff like that, a kiwi. But they're talking about tobaccos, and which makes sense most of the time. When you were either drinking a glass of wine or having a scotch or a scotch and soda or some whiskeys, it's either a cigar or it was, a cigarette, something
Right.
something strong and bold. Tequila, I have no idea, Stephen, what the hell I would pair with tequila, man.
Yeah, you know what? For me, if I was a tequila drinker, I probably would go with probably something tropical.
Yeah,
I know rum would probably be like a more obvious answer, but I think that, like with tequila or like a white liquor like that, I'd probably go with something a little tropical.
yeah. See, this was the tea one, and they were pairing their teas with a lot of fruity flavor stuff. So, yeah, I know a lot of us drink teas, and I think it would kind of help me a little more drink a little more tea if I had something that I could really kind of pair with it and drink tea in the morning instead of coffee and have that vape. But maybe like an apple. And what do they have on there? They got apples. I don't know whether these are raspberries.
That's what that would be. Yes.
Yeah, raspberry, and I think this is a pear, right?
That
A
would be a
pear,
pear. Yeah.
pear. Yeah, I never seen a red pear. Usually our pears are green here.
No, I forget I forget what those are actually called, but there
Eh.
are red ones. Yeah.
All right, Steven, you got to tell us what the hell are you pairing with tequila, baby? I want to know.
He said he uses menthols.
Menthol. Ooh,
That's a
but
good idea.
straight menthol or a menthol with blueberry menthol or something like that, watermelon menthol, or is it just a straight menthol? I'm
Well, tequila has a little bit of a bite to
right.
it, so I'm thinking maybe the menthol might take some of the edge off at the end. I mean, I think Mallory's answer would be a pretty reasonable one with a lemon or a lime
Lime
to
vape,
go
yeah,
with it, only because that's kind of typical with tequila. You know, you bite the lemon.
yeah.
I've never really done the lime angle too much unless it's like a Corona lime or something like that, but.
Yeah, I haven't drank tequila with lemon or lime and salt in many, many years. It's just bam, slam the tequila, it's over with. I don't need the lime. I don't need salt. I don't want to lick my
Yeah.
hand anyway.
Yeah, well, that's what I meant. Like, see,
Yeah,
he said mango menthol, and
mango,
so
menthol.
that's what I mean by something. I don't when I say tropical, I don't mean like a coconutty kind of like resort kind of tropical. I'm thinking pineapple, mango, blended kind of juices or something like that.
And
Ooh, straight moonshine. You're on your own there. You
ooh,
can
yeah,
if you're drinking moonshine, you can vape anything.
yeah, your taste buds, if especially if it's really good moonshine, I don't think you have any taste buds anyway left for at least 15, 20 minutes after. Some
Right.
good straight up menthol from the hills of Virginia, right? Isn't that where it comes from? Am I
What
close?
moonshine?
Or Tennessee, Virginia.
Dude, wherever it comes from, and they do it in the woods.
Yeah,
Somewhere,
they do
I'm
it. They
sure it's
do.
Virginia, Tennessee,
Yes.
anywhere where
And
they hide in the woods and have a still. That's where moonshine comes from. I know it's mainstream now. You can buy it.
ooh, I haven't had Fireball in a long time, but a Fireball and some apple pie vape that would be fucking delicious.
Well, that makes sense too, right? Because Fireball is that
Yeah,
that cinnamon kind of like bite to it. So that's what you would find in apple pie, right? I mean, I don't know that. I mean, I guess it would only enhance it. I mean, because you'd have. I mean, Fireball's strong, man. That's like
yeah.
taking like a thousand red hots and just grinding them up and just throwing it in the back of your throat.
You
What's
have
up,
just
Stomper?
intrigued. You just intrigued me. I think I'm going to go get some Fireball and give that a try. Fireball's dangerous, though, man.
Well,
I don't.
but here's another thing too, though. So I mean, I don't know if a lot of people know this when it comes to Fireball. Is one of the popular things is to mix Fireball with apple ciders, like the ciders that are on the market, like
Yeah,
Angry Orchard or Reds or whatever one that you're into. That's a popular thing. So it kind of makes sense that he did an apple pie vape with the Fireball because people are now mixing it with the cider drinks.
yeah. Now, as far as like a dinner part, I thought really long and hard on this one, and I think we said in the beginning, most of us don't eat and vape at the same time.
Right.
So I don't know, man. If someone threw out peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I go, well, if you're eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I don't think it matters what the hell you're vaping anyway. I mean, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't think of anything that I would pair with a New York strip. What am I going to pair with a New York strip steak? I thought long and hard. I couldn't come up with anything in my head because I was trying to figure out meals that we go through on a daily basis. And I was like, okay, if I'm eating a steak, what am I pairing a steak with? So if you guys got any ideas on,
I don't really know. I just don't know that there's anything that really kind of falls into that window,
yeah,
because I mean, like if you're eating a steak, you're not, you're having vegetables or, rice pilaf or, asparagus. You know what I mean? You're not. It's not. Those aren't vapey things. I think for me it would be something post the dinner to kind of like clean your palate or
yeah,
have that sort of after dinner experience because what do you typically have after dinner? You're either going to have like a coffee
right,
or or any variation of a I know people have like those Irish coffees after dinners and stuff. I was thinking more like dinner mint or something like the mints, choco mint, like kind of like dinner mint kind of thing. Like, you know what I mean? Something like that.
I was trying to think of something that I've had that could match that well, and then I tried to think of what enhances steak if you're eating it: salt, pepper, a spice, some sort of spice that rub or whatever you're putting on your steak. God forbid if you're putting A1 steak sauce on there. I don't know what to tell you, but uh, yeah, I was trying to think of something like that that has some bite to it that would pair well with a steak, and I couldn't think of anything that has that. I know I had one thing that I'm sure you had. If you had a vape that gave you that pepper, I can't remember the name of it, but I had a vape that gave me that kind of a pepper.
Never had that.
Yeah,
Never had a peppery vape. I have had
black
salted
currant.
vape. Yeah, that makes sense too. Like if you're gonna vape that, like, because it's kind of got that sort of like dark
Yeah,
berry flavor to it. It's a little sweet, but not too sweet. Um,
I like a
like,
stomper.
yeah. But I'm not thinking that route in terms of, when I'm gonna vape with a
Yeah,
steak, or that to me is more like a
ketchup.
wine. Yeah, ketchup, a ketchup
Oh,
vape.
Daniel, ketchup vape, please make it happen. Oh, we are doing well, the kingdom. We're just pairing stuff. What were you?
Yeah.
You're going to throw you a
We're
curve.
trying to pretend like we're foodies here, and then we know what the
Yeah,
fuck we're
yeah.
talking about. We
Tim,
know nothing.
what are you pairing with bowl of cereal?
Coffee vape.
Coffee vape.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know. The steak one came up. What else? I'm trying to think what
Well, I
else.
was going to add
Yeah,
about the
okay.
pepper ones is I don't know if anybody in the chat's tried them at all. No offense, Stomper, but I got Heisenberg. I tried it after all the hype, and it's disgusting. Sorry. Well, it's just me, subjective.
Yeah.
Anyhow, has anyone here tried any salted vapes? Like,
No, not
I ended up going to, it was home. What are they called? Hometown e-liquids or whatever, and they have the Leviathan line or whatever it is, and they had like the salted caramel and the salted pineapple, and there was another one that they had, and I thought those were a little unique. I'd never
yeah.
actually had like vapes where you could specifically taste that kind of salt flavor.
Flavor to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that would work good. Yeah, no, it was interesting because I kind of went. I couldn't find any other really big articles on it. I know it used to be big in the beginning. Everybody was, kind of trying to figure out. I think somebody needs to start a page, just a page with not dedicated to any brand, but just pairing food with our vapes. I think it'd be pretty
Well, I
cool.
don't know if anybody remembers them, and they may very well still be around. I don't know. So many
Yeah.
different companies have disappeared off the face of the planet. But does anybody remember the e-liquid company called Vapor Chef?
Vapor Chef. Yeah,
Vapor Chef. Their sort of claim to fame was the guy who started the company was like a chef. Like he
yeah,
actually went to chef school and he worked in all these pretty, prominent restaurants as a chef. And
yeah.
so I guess he decided to get out of that, and then he ended up developing this vape company. And all the people that he hired were like all came from that line of work.
Oh,
So their
nice.
primary goal was to try to come up with food type vapes, that they based on, their experience in the kitchen and what flavors blended well together. Like they had one called Honey Perry. I remember
Nice.
that one. They had one they had one, there was one with a unicorn's name in it. It wasn't unicorn poop, but it was unicorn something. But they had
Yeah.
all these really unique kind of food trensic
Yeah.
e-liquid vapes. That was their thing. I don't know. I'm gonna Google them.
Yeah,
Vapor Chef.
used to be a couple. You have, as with anything, everybody, wants those flavors. Everyone starts their line with the strawberry, with the cherries, with the apples, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
There were a couple companies there in the beginning. Well, Aries was one of those. Aries was one of those companies that, with Adam out there, who really kind of pushed the limits in the beginning for me. I mean, I know there was other guys out there, but I wasn't really sampling their stuff. But
Hmm.
tasting his stuff and seeing the different mixtures of flavoring and how they all worked great together. And when you look at it, and you read the label, and it's like, okay, these don't go together, but
Right.
somehow they just worked. And Aries is one of those companies I really enjoyed, and it's amazing because a lot of times, I mean, to be honest with you, I live in California, but prior to me vaping 9 years ago, I've never ate a fucking mango in my life. I didn't even know what a mango was until I started
Love
vaping.
mango. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It was just something. I'm Italian, first generation Italian. So it wasn't like that kind of fruit that was in the house. And
Right.
for me, it was just like, oh man, when I tasted that first time I tasted mango, I was like, okay, I got to go buy this. And I was disappointed because I think it wasn't the same. It didn't have that same flavor with my mouth, the taste buds. My taste buds didn't pick it up as the mango that I was picking up from the vape. So it
Right.
was kind of weird, but yeah, pomegranate was another one. I really didn't eat I've eaten them, but it wasn't like something I was like, oh my god, I got to go get a pair of pomegranate. And
Yeah. Same
black
here. I
currant.
never ate them as a kid. I remember seeing kids at school with them all the time. Thought they were like really interesting.
Yeah,
And I'm like, man, I'd like to have one. But then,
yeah,
never ended up getting one. Or my mom was like, hell no, that thing's messy.
they're messy. That's what my mom used to say. The same thing. She goes, "I'm not cleaning that stuff off your shirts because it doesn't come off." And I was like, "All right, whatever."
Yeah. But by the way, the Vapor Chef does exist. You guys
You
can
still,
Google it. Go. It's
yeah,
thevaporchef.com.
put
You
it
can
in
go
there.
there. Yeah, and
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can. You want me to share it?
yeah. Share it,
I'll
share it.
share it. All right, hold
Yeah,
on.
share it. Yeah,
I
black
just
currant.
happened to pull up the. Here you go. There
All
you
right,
go.
there it is.
Yeah,
Oh
let
yeah,
me.
see, yeah, I remember these guys.
Yeah, so I mean they just got like a straight tobacco, which looks like it's blended with honeydew melon and strawberry,
Yeah.
black pom pom, which looks like a pomegranate and lime. Here's the one I was telling you about, honey perry.
Ooh,
What's Miley Paris? Here, I'll tell everybody what a Miley Paris is. Flavor comes in like a wrecking ball. Way to go ahead and pull on.
wrecking
Bringing
ball.
you a mouth-watering blend of apricot, nectarine, and pear. So that's
Fuck you,
their
tough.
little thing, is that they supposedly, because of their experience in the food industry, they know what things go well together. So the Vapor Chef, but I won't bore you with that the rest of the show. Anyway, check them out.
Yeah, yeah, check them out. I mean, that's what's cool. I mean, like I said, I've never, mango was one, black currant. I never tried in my entire life. I probably would have never tried black currant if I didn't see it on, in an actual flavor.
Right.
There's a couple other ones. I mean, I wasn't big honeydew eater. I never did like honeydew, and I don't like honeydew still to this day. I don't like honeydew vapes, but so unless it's very mild, it has to be
Yeah.
very mild, and I'm cool with it. What is the other one? There's a couple of them that I'm still waiting for a fig. I like to have a fig flavored vape. What do you think, Tim? Is
You
it
know what? I
possible?
never would. I mean, if it's a Fig Newton vape, then we might
No,
be talking.
no, that's
But we
gross.
might be talking. But I don't know about. I've never ate figs
Oh,
like
okay.
just on the regular. Now Stomper just brought up a sweet. Well, he said his says a sweet tamale juice with raisins. Now, but take out the sweet tamale part. But there was an e-liquid by a company. They were called stash vapes, like mustache, right?
Yeah.
Stash vapes, and they had a flavor that I had one time a long time ago, and I fell in love with it, and then you can never get it again. It was called the Bearded Lady, and
Oh,
it was an oatmeal raisin cookie, and to this day, I have yet to have ever tasted another e-liquid that quote unquote had raisins in it that tasted like a freaking raisin. And they came back, they disappeared and came back years later. I think you can find them on Facebook, but they did bring back the old recipe, the Bearded Lady from Stash Sauce, I think, was the name
Yeah.
of their company.
I did have a dill pickle vape. It wasn't too bad. It was actually not too bad at all. And I actually had that. I was smart, and I actually had alcohol with that. So I remember that. I
Have
remember
not
that.
had a pickle vape yet.
Yeah, it was a dill pickle vape, and it was very strange because you had the pickle taste in it, the cucumber. Let's be honest here, the
Yeah.
cucumber flavor to it, and you had that vinegar salty flavoring to it. It was spot on. I was like, okay, this is pretty cool, different, not something that I would like all day vape, but I
Yeah.
thought it was kind of cool to have. But yeah, it's funny though. It's funny that some of the stuff that is out there that a lot of us have never really eaten in our lives, and it's awesome. But it's sad now because with the way regulations are, we may not see any new experimental flavors out there for quite some time. I mean,
Right.
it's going to be a while before somebody comes out with some, unless you're DIYing, like some people out there who get in the play.
Is that the rage right now, Curtis? Is it legit cornbread vapes that's really
Ooh.
popular right now?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd seen them
It
before.
was a while. I've seen them a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I never actually tried that. I've never tried one. I know. I think Janelle and
Bloody
Eddie
Mary.
used to. They used to get. What was that one vape company they used to get stuff from all the time? It was like some kind of like a mad scientist kind of.
Oh,
Uh,
chemist. Out of New York, out of back
yeah,
east. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, god damn it.
yeah, and
The chemist. It was called the chemist, wasn't it?
yeah, yeah, something like that. And I think they had some cornbread vapes,
Yeah.
mixed in with their Cloud Chemist. That's
Cloud chemists. Yeah, they were
yeah.
out of. Yeah, I don't know what are they still around. I think they're gone. I think they shut down. But yeah, I remember that was a big line. I remember seeing that line a lot. Oreo.
Well, Fried did an
Yeah,
Oreo that everybody apparently loved the hell out of.
coil
It was a
killer.
yeah. Well, it was a deep fried Oreo though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the company was FRYD Fried.
We'll have to check. Yeah, it was been around for a while. I've had a couple cornbread ones, and I think Cloud Chemist and another company, actually both companies from back east, which we kind of talked about. I think it's kind of the difference between the East Coast vapor, the West Coast vapor, and the mid country vapor, whatever you want to call them.
Midwest.
Yeah, the Midwest vapor. It's funny how it's like everybody, all these companies back east are so heavy into these pastries and dessert stuff, and then you start moving along, and then you have kind of in the middle there where it's kind of the desserts and what are they? I don't want to say fruits. They're kind of into the fruits, but they're still kind of into that pastry stuff where it's kind of a mix of certain different types of foods. But it's weird how here on the West Coast it's all about fruits, and then you go back east and you see all these lines of dessert stuff.
Yeah.
Uh,
Is that a demographical thing? I
yeah,
mean,
it's
is it
kind of weird, isn't it?
like a cultural thing? Like if that's
Yeah.
more your thing, because California is more. I don't want to say tropical in that sense, but I mean,
Yeah, I thought about it because then I thought to myself, well, you would think the East Coast would be more into the fruity stuff because they don't have the fresh fruits like we do here on the West Coast. I mean, fresh fruit is hard to come by over there. Even if you go into the supermarkets, a lot of times, you know, uh, culture shock for me is like the first time I went into the supermarket in Buffalo, New York, and they had peaches, and I looked at the price and I was like, "Holy shit, you guys are paying this much for a peach?" And I was
yeah.
like, and then I bit into it and I was like, okay, this is the most flavorless peach I've ever tasted in my entire life. I don't know where you guys got it, but it didn't come from California.
Yeah.
But yeah, you would assume them not having the access to all those fruits that we have here and that are always fresh and sweet and ripe and ready to eat. You think they would want those in their vapes, but again, they're heavy, heavy,
I would
heavy.
think New Yorkers would all be all about like the what do they call those things? Ah, shit.
Don't say pizza vapes.
No, not pizza base. I'm thinking more cannoli kind of stuff and like the
Cannolis,
New York bakery style,
scones.
vapes and things like that. Yeah, see, Luke, I mean, that was my thing. Like when I kicked it off, I was all about desserts when I first got started. And then after about maybe a year of just desserts all the time, they all just ended up becoming so one-dimensional to me.
Yep,
Like
yep.
like it wouldn't matter which one you bought, no matter how well they drummed it up and made it sound like it was going to be the best thing. They just
Yeah,
all got boring to me. Like I didn't have Vapor's tongue, but it felt like I had Vapor's tongue.
yeah.
And so I went over to Fruits, and that's kind of where I hang out. What's up, Knight?
Right.
Welcome to I'm south of you. I'm in Georgia, buddy.
Georgia,
Georgia.
Georgia. All right, we were going to All right, I wanted to talk on this because I kind of did. I not kind of doing a little research, and I was kind of a little bit shocked at the numbers. And there's got to be a reason for this. So, kind of, if you guys have an idea of what's going on, because last night I said to myself, you know what? I haven't seen an indoor smokers video in a long time.
Right.
So last night I went over to Indoor Smokers video. I clicked on his newest video and he had 1,000 views. And I thought to myself, wait a minute. This was the guy that was pulling 15, 20,000, sometimes in the 40,000. And I said, okay, maybe it's just his channel because I guess watching the video, he talked about how he was gone for a while. So I
Right.
figured, okay, maybe this has something to do with him, not posting videos. So I went over to the big gun. I went over to Mike's channel and I pulled up Mike's first video and he was at 1,000. And I was thinking to myself, okay, is this really going on? So I hit the next one. I went to the next, but I'm not going to name all the ones. It's Mike Vapes, and then it was Fagan's page, and then I went to DJ LSB's page, and they all seem to be right at that 1,000. And I was trying to figure out what's going on. Something is going on. People are not watching reviews, or is it the hardware isn't interesting anymore, or are we that much more knowledgeable? What do you think it is, Tim?
I'd like to think that it a little bit of it probably has to do with potentially YouTube probably throttling the number of views that they can get. Meaning, unless you're just some hardcore person that waits for the notification button to pop up that you're so and so is. Now I get Adrian Daylo, whatever his last name, the guy out of the Philippines, the Malaysian guy, Adrian Daylo, whatever. I get his notifications all the time. I think a little bit might have to do with YouTube throttling it. I think a little bit of it might have to do with the fact that maybe there is not as much new stuff hitting the market like there was before. I think a lot of it might have to do with the fact with the PACT Act and some of the limitations as to the things that we can actually get our hands on anymore. Maybe it's just that people aren't, or maybe it's just a financial thing. Most people will watch a review because they're pending buying something, and if you can't afford it, then why are you going to watch the review? You're like, fuck it, I'm not buying it anyway.
Yeah, Facebook user, I don't know who you are, but no, it has nothing to do with that because these are new products that these guys are reviewing. They're brand new products that I have not seen. So it's not like it's same old, or it's something that came out 3 or 4 months ago. The channels that I went to, these are guys that have not burned their bridges with companies. This is Mike Vapes, Indoor Smoker. There's no way that he's burned his bridges with anybody because they all love him. They all love. He's never shit on anybody. So I don't think it has anything to do with that. I mean, it is brand new products, but it just seems like there's just that it's not there. It's just not there. And I mean, these were channels where if Mike Vapes popped up and said in your thing, hey, I'm reviewing whatever, within an hour, they were well over 5,000-6,000 views. And now this is a week old video or even a couple hours old video, and it's just hovering at that 1,500. I think I wrote it down. I think it's 1,500 to 4,000.
Yeah.
In views, right around in that area. And I was just kind of like, okay, what's going on? Are we just smart?
Well, and I see the follow up to the statement about burning the bridges.
Yeah.
I mean, there may be some value in that comment in the sense that if you're going to basically start to alienate your viewer base by just going, well, knuckle down, kids, the end is coming. the
Yeah.
lights going out. But like somebody like Mike, didn't he kind of take a big break from doing reviews for a while? Then he kind of just vanish and go do his own thing.
Right.
I mean, I don't. For me, I don't watch Rip because Rip's pretty much reviewing stuff that I'm not really interested in buying anyway.
Yeah.
So f that. The majority of stuff that is hitting the market in a lot of ways is pod systems. I mean,
Yeah.
how many pod video reviews can you possibly watch where you're like, it's this? The only thing that's really changed is the airflow, maybe the form factor, or some intelligent thing that it can do. But beyond that, I mean, they're all the same, right? I mean, you're not
Right.
really going to get some amazing vape from one pod system to the next. So
To the next. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. What did I read here? Yeah, I think YouTube has a little bit to do with it. And Tim brought up Rip, and it seems not to affect Rip. That I don't know. I don't think you can buy views anymore. I think the way YouTube is set up now, I don't think you can purchase likes and comments and all that other stuff. So I don't know. I mean that doesn't make any
what
sense.
about age restrictions? Do you think maybe before they could just put that video up, and then a lot of the younger people who were sub 21 down to 18, depending on what state they
Well, you
lived
would have
in?
saw that effect last couple years ago. You would have saw
Yeah,
that
I don't
effect.
know.
But
I'm
it's
grabbing
just
at straws at this point.
yeah, it's weird. I mean, I didn't notice it. I never noticed it until last night. The only reason, like I said, I noticed it is because I figured, hey, you know what? I haven't seen an indoor smokers video in a while. So I was like, oh, let me go check out his page. And when I went to his page, I was like going through the week, and I was like 1,000 views, 1,400 views, 2,000 views. I was like, whoa, what the hell's going on here? And of course, I'll be honest, the first thing I thought was, okay, everyone's tired of his stick. And
Yeah.
I thought that was the first thing. That was the first thing that came to mind, was like, okay, everyone's gotten tired of his stick and they're moved on. And he does have that type of channel. Once you've gotten past the entry level device, you're pretty much only going back to his channel for entertainment purposes, because you already made the transition from that beginner's vape to your 2 battery mods, your 3 battery mods, your RD, because he doesn't really touch on a lot of that stuff on
Right.
his channel. So I figured, okay, well, maybe people are getting tired of stick, or most of us are more advanced now. We don't really go to his channel unless we want a good laugh, and that's one of the reasons I went last night, to be honest with you, is to get a good laugh. I think he's great at it. And yeah, because Rip, do I have Rip am I following Rip still? Let me see. I think I am. Man, my list is, I really need to clean. Who else needs to clean out who they're following on YouTube? Give me give me X1 in the chat. Do you need to clean out who you're following on YouTube?
So what's the consensus in chat, that basically people just aren't as interested in vaping anymore? That the
Yeah.
core group of people that normally would be big review watchers just have what they have what they need right now, and they don't really need anything
Yeah.
new. You're not really shopping, hunting for the next greatest thing. That's why I said, is it frequency of new products coming out, that there just isn't really enough going on that's catching anyone's attention or eye, that they care to watch anymore.
Yeah, we won't get into that one. Yeah, that's the thing too. I mean, one of the things that I did spot and notice on a lot of the channels is a lot of the viewers getting a little bit more outside of the vaping realm and starting to review microwaves, fucking air conditioning units. Fucking, I saw one guy reviewing what is it, the Dyson fucking air purifier cleaner. I was like, okay, kind of makes sense. I kind of, vaping, Dyson, clean, purify the air in your house. But
Yeah.
it was just like, I was kind of like, okay, maybe that's the thing, maybe that has a little bit to do with it. Well, and these guys, hey, I'm not going to shit on them. They got to make their money. YouTube has been a big source of a lot of these guys' income. And, when you do have 150,000 followers, 200,000 followers, maybe you got an opportunity. You could start, reviewing different things that you think maybe may have interest with your followers. So go for it. go for it.
So,
But I think it might have to do with why. Okay, Rip is still pulling 19K. He's pulling 19, 20, 31K, 23K. That is 2 weeks. 2 weeks of Rip's videos have been in the 19 to 31K range. So
right.
he's still pulling that. He's still pulling that for a video. And yet Rip does two a week. It looks like, yeah, 2 a week. He's doing 2 a week. So he's still pulling big numbers, but you don't get that anywhere else. I mean, I don't know who else. Who else could I look up? You got Mike. You got
Well,
Rick.
there's Zophie's a good one. How's
Sophie.
Zophie?
Let me see.
How's Zophie doing out there?
I don't follow
I don't
her.
know. I'm just coming from my own personal space, and I would say that I never really kind of just sat down on YouTube to go watch review videos. The only time I ever really cared about a
Sophie Vape.
review video was because it was something that I was interested
Right.
in buying. Beyond that, I didn't just go to watch vape review videos to see what somebody thought of something that I was never going to touch with my own two hands.
Yeah. How are you guys? Are you guys? I don't know. I remember checked on the. Are you guys looking up stuff? Are you guys going to YouTube to pull videos, or are you guys using your groups? I'm kind of curious. Are you using your groups to get your information, your rape groups, or are you still going to YouTube and looking at reviews on a device maybe you're thinking of purchasing?
Me personally, I just don't feel like a whole ton of stuff has really
Nope.
hit the market that's just really sort of like captured me. Like I'm in several groups on Facebook. I mean, if I want to learn anything about Steam Crave stuff for the most part, I'm in a Steam Crave group.
Yeah.
The Yeehee group I was in has just gone dead silent. Like nothing Yeehee really comes out anymore. You don't see anything coming out of, that's SX or GL class or anything really new or innovative there.
Yeah,
But I
Zophie's
just,
doing same. She's doing the same between one. Yeah, her. She just posted a video 3 hours ago, and she's doing 1.1. A video she posted last week is doing 4.9. So
is
she's
well, I don't know what her average was. So.
yeah, her average. Let me go way back here. Let's go way back. Yeah, see, she was pulling 16K, 14K, 45K, 14, 19, 39K. Yeah, no, she was pulling big numbers, and then all of a sudden it's right back down. So something. It could be YouTube, like you're saying. It could be YouTube. It could be that. I don't know. I would like to think we're more knowledgeable than we were 6 years ago. Even the newer vapor, I think,
Yeah.
because I think even the newer vapor, I'm not going to say he's getting everything he needs to know at the shops. I doubt that, but I think a lot of times they're getting a lot of that knowledge from the buddy that's converting them. And I think maybe a lot of it might have to do with the fact that my buddy got me started with a Geek Vape product. I'm going to kind of stick into that line, stick with that line. And it's like, it's worked for me. I'm going to buy Geek Vape stuff. I don't care who's reviewing it. I'm going to buy it. Maybe
Yeah.
her averages have dropped, and she's one of those that is doing the multi-purpose channel where it could be vape one day, it could be makeup the next, it could be I'm looking at it could be a lot of things. She actually
I have not night. No, I had a Smoke Nord the first iteration when it
right.
first came out, and as cliche as it might sound, I'm like the freaking coils, man. Just
Yeah.
the coils ruined that experience for me. They just smoke coils just don't for me just don't last.
Yeah,
So I
she's
get away
got
from
good
them.
she's got good stick too. Yeah, she's using her sex appeal, but I think she's a smart girl. If you go back to Sophie's original videos when she was doing build tutorials, I think she's helped a lot of the women that were in the industry build, because she had pretty much the only channel that kind of focused on the ladies building, and it was kind of a cool thing. A matter of fact, the first time I did a braided coil was on her channel. I saw
Yeah.
the braided coil being made on her channel, and I saw her do it, and I was like, I could do that. And I never thought of doing I'm a guy. I don't do braids. So,
Right.
It's something she's done every day in her life with her hair, I'm sure, or on one of her girlfriends here. And she was doing a braided coil. And I go, oh, that's fucking easy. And just the way she had the camera angles set up, and yeah, she's easy on the eyes, so it was fun. I've tried to get Zophie on the show, and I talked to her manager, and she doesn't do a live show because of her anxiety. So I've tried to get her on here. But yeah, I mean, her channel was a pretty good channel. She was very knowledgeable. She didn't make a lot of mistakes like some of the other people that were, they would post a video and then the next day, because of comments, they would have to go and post another video explaining, I made a mistake here. It only goes up to this many wattage, or you can't build below this, or so there was a lot of that there. But yeah, I mean, it's just weird. I don't know. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting last night when I was just kind of doing some YouTube searching, and I saw those numbers and I was kind of shocked. Actually, we got DJ LSB Vapes. I want to go over to his page here. I think DJ is having a little bit of a downward turn. Yeah, see, he's still, actually it looks like it's kind of whatever he's if he's doing a pod, it's low.
Yeah.
If he's doing something, more of our style, he's still doing 18, 9, 8, 7, 12K on the XLIM, XLIM.
Okay.
Yeah. And the bronze side, SBS, he got 16K views. So he's still doing. 9 hours ago, he posted the Smock thinner kit, and he got 49K views. So it's down. It's down for all of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that Deuces moved from the vapor channel, the whatever group he was part. He broke away from them, and he got his own thing going. Has he picked right back up where he kind of left off, knowing that he shifted to knowing that he shifted to his own channel? Same review process. Everything's the same. It's just he's not part of Vaping Insider.
Yeah, Tony's hurting. His channel is down, way down. He posted 2 days ago. He got 953 views on. Oh, he did it on a skateboard. What the hell? Oh, he did a review on a one of those electric skateboards.
Okay.
Yeah. But
I can understand going that route, because a lot of these people prior to the issues around vaping were able to monetize what it was that they were doing, and they kind of made I don't know that they made a living at it, but they were able to get close to making a living at it. Some of them obviously have made a living off of it, but I'm saying now that vaping has so much stigma around it, they can no longer monetize those types of videos. So if they're still doing it, they're only doing it because they care about the industry or care about trying to make sure that you get the information you're looking for. They're not. Right. They're not gaining anything by spending all that time doing all these videos.
Yes, this is the Zamplebox YouTube channel, and Zamplebox lets us do our show on here. And we are Wednesday Night Live. We are not part of the Zamplebox. We just have the privilege of using their channel and you guys as followers to share our message. So enjoy. Okay, this is the last and final topic before we get into news with Tim. And should we be quiet about shipping regulations that are not being enforced, even though we are paying extra for it? It's kind of like, should we say something or should we not? If we complain, it might become kind of hard for those people that are not home to sign for those packages that are right now are not having to do it. How do you feel about that, Tim? What do you think? There's going to be that one customer out there.
I'll say this. I think it's rather unfortunate that people are being put into a position to have to pay the shipping fee when the element that it's being charged for is not really being followed through on. Granted, USPS has not actually published the rule yet, and so theoretically within the walls of that entity, they don't have to follow through with that thing. But I think due to the PACT Act, there's probably not a whole lot of wiggle room to get out of not charging it or passing that on to the customers, because the vendors are only following the rules that they were expected to adhere by. With that said, even though that it's unfair in that sense now that you're paying for a service that they're not utilizing, it's coming. So what I'm saying is, like, even if we were able to wiggle our way out of it and companies could find a way to kind of put it on pause, eventually it's going to happen anyway. So, did we get a little bit of a breather for a while? But I mean, I haven't really ordered that much online in quite some time because I've pretty much had what I need here, so I haven't had to buy anything.
It's shocking.
But there's really no way around it. I mean, what are we supposed to do? Go full mutiny on all the online companies that are still able to put themselves out there to ship? What are we supposed to do? Bark them down and go, "Why are you charging me $5 to ship my stuff?"
Or USPS. I mean, it's just like there's at least one or a few customers out there that are saying, "Hey, I'm paying this fucking $12, and you're just throwing it in my mailbox. You're not knocking on my door. You're not doing your job." There's always that guy. Yeah, there he's pointing at him right there. There's always that guy in every community that's like, "Well, wait a fucking minute here. I'm paying $12 because I have to have my signature when you deliver that package, but yet you're just throwing this package on my doorstep, or you're throwing it in my mailbox, and Joe Blow can, my kid can go get this, and you guys are so concerned about kids, but yet you're just throwing it in the mailbox right now."
So here's the $1 million question, right? While I totally disagree with the fact that people should be paying this fee if USPS is not acting on that service, right? But my question is there any resolution to that? Like, what would happen if Element Vape just stopped taking it off the invoice when you bought your stuff? Are they in any jeopardy by not charge? Daniel knows the answer. There he is. Daniel, the answer man. He's no longer Daniel. He's not the vape man. He's the answer man.
So, I like that, actually. So what Goofy Juice did is you had to take a picture of your ID with your face in it. That will end all adult signatures needed. Done.
Yeah. I mean, it's just...
And they don't charge you, if you do that, they don't charge you the delivery fee.
For now, they're going to get away with that. For right now, they're going to get away with it. But eventually, if USPS eventually says, "Hey, we're going to really, really enforce this now. It's gone through law. You're going to have to charge your customer." Well, actually, it's going to be a fee that USPS is going to charge the distributing company or the vendor, the $12. So they're going to have to get it out of us. The companies aren't going to eat that $12. They're not going to say, "Oh yeah, order that $16 bottle of juice and one bottle, and we'll eat the $12." It's not going to happen.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know that every company would have the ability to do that. You know what I mean? To have do you have the employee level to manage that user database and take all those pictures and keep all that on file and all that stuff? I mean, is that a loophole, Daniel? Is that just a theoretical loophole for them to get around that whole process? It's not really anything that's like, okay, this is good at this. This is equal to someone charging a delivery fee.
I think it would just be a loophole, and it could also get rid of that delivery fee, because the whole point of the adult signature is to verify the age, right? So that gets rid of it right away, and you can't. No one underage could order it.
Right, they couldn't order, but that doesn't mean someone of underage couldn't receive it. Because if they're just throwing it in your mailbox, your kid can go walk out there and grab that box and walk in the house. And if I'm being charged $12 for USPS employee to walk to my door and knock on the door and get my signature so I can receive that package because I just paid $12 to have that done, you're making me pay that. I mean, that's where I'm getting at. Should we say anything? Should we just keep quiet? Because I think it's going to, if you do speak up, I think it could fuck things up, but it's already fucked up. But you know what I'm getting at. I mean, there's some people that aren't home at 11:30 in the afternoon to receive that package.
Right.
You know,
Well, but you could say, well, then, just all your future vape shipments have them go to your work if you have the ability to accept packages at work. I mean,
right?
there are
Yeah.
other ways to get around that in a general sense. To answer Curtis's question,
Yeah.
this is the Vaporesso PX80 swag. So you got the little stealthy little digital screen behind the carbon fiber, and then you got the fancy little leather. It's
Yeah.
magnetic tank. Simple, easy, gets the job done. It's a great,
Yeah.
great little mod.
Yeah, it's not just vape stuff. I just went to the store today, and I had a little bit of grocery shock. I was like, "What the hell's going on here? Something is happening. Something's getting ready to happen because prices on groceries just went skyrocket here." And I don't know if it's just California, but I just looked at a box of pasta, Barilla pasta from Italy, which is usually about $1.09, is $2.66 a box now. I was like, okay, what's going on here? Monsters went from 4 for $5 to 4 for $7. I was like, okay, something's going on here. Now, I was just wondering. I was thinking about that because I'm surprised we haven't heard that group out there bitching about the signature. And I thought, there's
No, it's happened. I've
yeah,
seen it in
Yeah.
several groups where people were
yeah,
talking about it, and they're rightfully upset that this was supposed to happen. And granted, USPS has not published the final rule because that was the whole thing, right? I
yeah,
mean, they had a certain time allotment to go ahead and publish the final rule. Once they published that, that's when they were supposed to start following through on those
yep,
requirements that the Senate, well, that they had passed with regard to the PACT Act.
right.
But for whatever reason, USPS has not published that rule, so they don't have to follow that specific guideline. Yeah, I feel like there's a disconnect because the vendors who opted to still be able to use USPS and follow rules so that they could use USPS
Right.
kind of got caught in that rock and a hard place where it's like, well, we have to charge
Let's just implement it now and be ready.
for that,
Yeah.
right? Because they're probably sitting there going, well, if we don't do it, we could potentially lose our ability to ship. Because now, and forgive
Yep.
me if I'm wrong, anybody, and anybody can chime in on this one. Because does anybody remember when everybody was freaking out when it was like, oh, all the online vendors are going to be gone? All the major carriers are carrying vape products, but then all these carriers supposedly had secured these courier type
Right.
networks
That
that were
disappeared.
going to allow them to continue to ship forward. Has anyone experienced a delivery from that particular mystery shipper that they never really named by name, but was supposed to be that network, that underground railroad of delivering e-liquid and vape products? Has anyone gotten a shipment from that mysterious?
Tim, with that,
Yeah.
there's actually a place in Florida that actually has one. Nick knows about that, and he's used them before. There are customers that have gotten it from them. It's not prevalent, but I mean, it is something. I mean, it's one state starting out something, but there's something.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, there was like electronic tobacconist,
Yeah.
8 Vape. Now a lot of these carriers, a lot of these companies never went to those or never started to utilize that carrier because they didn't need to. They could still use USPS. So why jump on board? I do think with some of them they were limited to the states that they could ship to with that particular carrier. I just have not. I was just curious if anyone has received a shipment via that network or that system at all. I haven't heard anybody talk about that. And I think they were still signature delivery too, remember?
Yep.
By the way, to answer Stomper's question, unless Vaporesso does a 510 deck on it, it's a proprietary magnetized pod system that has just sub-ohm coils in it. Nice part about it, though, is that if you need to change the coil and your tank is 3/4 full, you just twist the drip tip, and then you can pop the coil out, swap your coil while you still have a full tank of juice in it. So it's
Are you still trying to sell your mod, Tim? Like,
I
I'm
am.
trying
Well,
to
everybody
figure out
keeps
how much money you
asking
can
what
get
it
for
is. They
He's
keep
trying to
asking.
sell it,
so-
man.
Give me your
He's-
squonks.
He's
Yeah.
the Squonk. Yeah.
Yeah, see, Daniel's like, just give me all the crap behind you that you're not using right now.
Squonking is dead, Daniel. It's dead.
No,
It's
no,
dead.
no,
It's dead.
no, no.
Yeah, I paid $4.23 a gallon for gas here in Modesto,
Holy Moses. We're 287 today.
and that was mid grade. I usually do premium, and premium is like $4.35 a
What
gallon.
do you do premium for?
It just makes
Falling
my
out
car run
here.
better. Yeah, just makes my car.
Your
run
Bentley.
Yeah.
No, it runs smoother. It doesn't. Yeah, it's. You're told to do at least one tank a month in your car with premium.
They put the same damn detergents in all of those octanes. It's the same shit. Yeah.
Tim, I worked for a fuel company for 25 years.
I don't care. I don't care.
You should put at least once a month run a full tank of premium. At least
Okay.
once a month, and that'll
Now
keep
that I
your
have a real
valves-
job, maybe I can
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, it'll keep your valves and your pistons clean. Yeah, it's a smart thing. It burns cleaner. It burns cleaner and it burns hotter, and it'll clean a lot of that garbage that is along your walls of your piston and your valves. So keep that in mind, children.
Yeah. Well, to the last comment though, like I've gotten stuff from Element and stuff from USPS, and my driver's not showing up at my door and having me sign for anything. They're just throwing it in my box, regardless of who it's coming or where it's coming from. So I mean, I just it seems inconsistent at best.
No one's getting signatures. I have bought in 3 things. Well, my sample box came in, no signature. I've got where did I order from? I ordered from 2 other companies. I forget who they were. No signature. Just package in the mailbox. One thing was a bigger box, so he actually knocked on the door, but placed the box on the ground and left. So, no signature, no nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, see, Kiki's like, I haven't had to sign for anything at all.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's sort of been the general consensus across the board. Everybody's like, why am I paying this money and I'm not signing for anything? They're just, but that might have to do with COVID as well, right?
Yeah, that's what they're using. That's what USPS is using as an excuse for not getting the signatures right now. They're saying because of COVID, they don't feel it's safe for their drivers to knock on the door and get a signature from you.
Yeah.
But most states, COVID restrictions have been released. So, I mean, there's a lot of where I live, there's no restrictions right now on masks or anything like that. So they're still not getting a signature. It's just, I just feel we're getting screwed. I mean, one guy posted it's actually costing some of us between $20 and $35 more than what we're usually paying for stuff.
Right.
And to us, a lot of times, you think about it, $20 to $35, that's 2 60 ml bottles. That's the price of 2 60 ml bottles that we could have ordered,
Right.
but we're paying for a signature, that which it's not being done. And, hey, if I go to work and I don't do my job, I get fired,
Right.
I'm going to get recommended. So, I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me that so far they've been getting away with it. But then, like I said, do we say anything? do we piss off USPS or do we piss off, that's the only one because they're the one that's charging that fee, and that fee is going towards the seller. And that seller has to get it somewhere. He's not going to eat that. So,
but I have to imagine that some of that's probably passed through, right? I mean,
Yeah.
if we're paying for a service fee, when they set up that label and they pick that service, it's billing their account to
Yeah.
pay for that service as well.
Right.
And if it shows up on the label that says signature required, even though you're not signing for it, that means that they acquired that special service when they bought that label.
Right.
So I don't think this is a pure profit move by vape companies who are kind of getting away with murder right now. They have to tick that box when they do that label, right? So I think most of that stuff's going to be passed through anyway. Whatever they're going to get hit for, they're just going to turn it around and charge it to you.
I like that. That's called forgery, man. Oh, yeah. I'm not having anybody sign for me. Fuck that. If you know what, look, man, I'm not gonna. I have 3 good buddies that work for USPS. they got a tough job. They do. I'm not going to say they don't, but yet, they're delivering mail to thousands and thousands of people every day. And I get it. They don't want to get out of their fucking truck, but dude, it's hot here. I get that, but get the fuck out of your truck, walk to my door, knock on it, get my damn signature, and then go. If I'm paying $12 for you to get out of your truck for 5 minutes to walk to my door and knock on it. See, now, wait a minute. Now that I thought about it, your situation would be different, right, Tim? Because you have the box away from your home. So
well, see, I have cluster boxes. Right. So we have parcel boxes and a regular mailbox drop off, which is halfway into my neighborhood when you come in. Now, that does not mean that the mail lady can't drive her butt over here and do that same thing, but that's not really her forte. The only time she ever leaves anything on anybody's doorstep if it's too big to fit in the parcel lockers. And again, to Stomper, if I misspoke, I apologize. It's Vaporesso.
Dublin Pleasanton. Nice.
Yeah,
Stomper.
so it's not for Vaporesso. It's not the PMP coils. It's the GTX coil line that you're going to buy. Yeah. Which are great coils too. So
yeah, Stomper, we're paying a lot of money for gas, especially in that area, Livermore, Dublin, and Pleasanton. I bet you're way over the $4.23 a gallon. Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. I just thought of that. It came up, and I'll be honest, I was kind of feeling a little pissed off that I was paying that, and I was not receiving that service that I was paying for. And not that I feel like no one in my household is a minor. I don't have to worry about that. But it for them being so concerned about children getting these packages and in their hands, it doesn't seem like it's that big of a concern when they're already charging for that service. And it's like Tim's saying, that label is getting when they make that label, they're getting charged for that service. They're saying, USPS is saying that they are going to get a signature because that's what it's been paid for. And when your box is just thrown on your doorstep or in your mailbox, it kind of pisses you off, especially when it comes out to $20 to $25 to $30 sometimes in what you're paying. All right. Tim. Let me get these everybody on. That's why we wear shorts. Yes, that's right. That is correct. That's everybody. All right, Timmy.
Yes.
Oh, hey, by the way, Brian's here.
Brian. Thanks.
Brian's here. Tim, Brian's
came in hot from work.
He did. There we go. Welcome, Brian. And Tim, here we go, buddy.
All right. Woo! All right. So, my life's changed a little bit. So I'm cramming things in every little nook and cranny that I can find, but I'm still pulling through for you kids. And we got the customary 3-story night. Although I thought tonight would be a little fun to have one article with a lot of visual aids, right? And
pictures.
Yeah, so I'm gonna pull on the consensus of the chat and the panel to get your all's opinion on this one and see if there is a consensus agreement across the board. So we're going to talk about this article first. There wasn't a whole lot of textual content to this. This is more visual than textual at all. So let me share my screen. Share screen, and we want that one. And there we go. All right. So this one is something that's come up before. It's obviously something that those of us with a passion for advocacy love to go after the anti-vaping groups and the anti-vape zealots that like to get out on all the standard channels and push a lot of negativity around vaping. But for years, the anti-tobacco crusaders have been blaming e-cigarette manufacturers and retailers for the increase in teen vaping, which has been coined an epidemic by the CDC after they cited survey data from the National Youth Tobacco Survey, where I think in 2018, 2019, there was a rise in vape teen usage. Although we all already know that that's not all day, everyday vapors. We're talking about kids that tried vaping once in the last 30 days, probably tried it because a friend shoved a jewel in their face, and that's that. However, the vape industry has also been accused of enticing the youth with kid-friendly flavors, using cartoons and other kind of fun imagery to kind of like, reel in the kids, and it's our fault that the kids are vaping, right? Because of the things that we say. Now, won't lie and say that there weren't some e-liquid companies that probably used some imagery on their bottles to make it more look like a candy that you were familiar with, or a cereal that you were familiar with. Whatever lure they want to say was potentially a draw for kids. But the hypocrisy here is that the same anti-vaping crusaders, they do the exact same thing. They call us the ones saying that we're the ones marketing to the kids, but the anti-vape crusaders, they use the same kind of imagery, the same kind of relevancy to trying to peddle the anti-vape rhetoric and narrative. So I mean, I think that and I've said this before. I've said that a lot of these these organizations, like Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids, or American Lung Association, or any one of these ones that are out there kind of in the nether, these ads that they pull together, they really more or less kind of make vaping that forbidden fruit, that thing that they're not supposed to have, but they put it into like a cartoony format that, in my mind's eye, is sort of attractive to kids. So I wanted to go through some of these so you can see the examples that are out on the internet. I'll probably have to make it a little bit bigger. Give me 1 minute. All right. So they say things like this, right? So they're trying to tell the kids, don't vape, right? Bloomberg-funded NGO Philippines. It makes me look cool. My friends vape. I should too. It makes me feel relaxed. Well, they say they throw all these taglines in there, and then the kids are like, wow, I wonder if it does make me look cool. Well, maybe, I don't know, peer pressure is kind of a thing in my age range, if my friends are doing it, I'm probably going to get pressured into doing it. That might not lure them in too much, but it makes me feel relaxed. Well, if you've never tried it before, wouldn't you be encouraged, or at least feel a little bit incited to want to try vaping to see if those claims are true, right? So you get things like that. It tastes like cotton candy. Ooh, I wonder what a cotton candy vape tastes like. My friends vape, so I should too. Well, that one was already kind of there. So, but the list goes on. So they got a bunch of kids sitting against a wall, vaping. So kids aren't going to look at this like, oh, this is taboo. I mean, well, they'll look at it like taboo, like I shouldn't be doing this, but you're damn skippy. I'm going to try it.
Well, the one to the far left looks like, what the fuck am I holding this for?
Well, she looks like she's just biting her nails. I don't even think she even has a vape in her hand. You
Right
just got
there
you got the guy with the sour and air there in the middle. You got the Juul user. It looks like a Juul user sitting there, and then the kid with the hat on. I can't tell what they're holding, but they've got a vape. I just don't see the girl on the left vaping. One Juul pod equals 20 cigarettes. So hey, smoking's bad, but look at that convenient little Juul.
Yeah.
Look how cool that looks compared to
Sticking
looking like
20
you're
cigarettes.
huffing a chimney. I don't know what that says. Poked million. I don't know what that says.
Cooked millions their lungs.
No, I don't know. You can't see you can't click on the whole
Yeah.
picture. Another one from California Department of Public Health.
Ooh, those California kids, man, they're trouble.
1 in 5 Minnesota high schoolers vapes nicotine. Let's make it 2 out of 5.
Yeah.
Some of these I think I've seen before. The secret's out. If your product killed 8 million people each year, you'd also target a new generation. What the hell does that even mean?
Yeah.
Vaping never killed 8 million people each year.
Yeah.
I don't know where they come up with this stuff. Oh, and look who's stamped on it. World Health Organization,
World
the
Health.
FCTC.
Yeah.
Here's some cartoons. Vaping witches. Like, who doesn't want to have toil, boil and boil and bubble,
What?
toil and trouble?
That's a Halloween one, though. Yeah, it's
Yeah, well, this is the one where they were like, oh, if you're vaping, let me just add a little bit more formaldehyde to the mix. American Lung Association.
yeah.
You're right. Well, but that's the thing is that
Yeah.
that's because all these anti-vape crusaders, they don't know anything other than Juul. That's like
Yeah.
the only thing
Yeah.
they know. They don't. They might be somewhat familiar with some of the other pod systems, but they think we're big tobacco and they think that we're nothing but Juul.
Yeah.
That's their association to us. But again, I think it's the idea that even though these are kind of ominous kind of advertisements. I mean, if people told you drinking was bad for you, a 14, 15, or 16-year-old's probably still going to be inclined to want to try it anyway. They're trying to keep it away from me, so it must be interesting. Adults do it, you know. Vaping is as safe as skydiving without a parachute. If you vape, you're 4 times more likely to start smoking cigarettes.
Wait,
And
whose
look,
ideas do you use the Muppets like that?
I mean, that looks professional.
Right, and that's what I'm thinking, Brian. Is that it's about using puppets and cartoons and
Child
things
friendly.
that are relatable to kids.
Yeah.
Daniel, your thoughts on this crap?
Well, the ironic thing of it is I got into this whole thing is because I saw like an advertisement for vaping against vaping. And so it kind of introduced me to the world and got me off cigarettes because I didn't really think about it. I started blue commercials and stuff like that. But then once they started saying it was bad, I was like, this must be good. And then, yeah, it's been a wrap ever since then. But
Right.
I think it's just kind of similar to the war on drugs. They just do it the wrong way, and now the kids want to do it more and more. It
Right.
doesn't work.
I want to read I am Sam's comment. He said again, if my kids vape, I won't give a f. Fuck, we can say the word anyway. If
You
you
can say
think it's
fuck.
if you think it's a big deal, you're an idiot. They aren't smoking cigarettes or crack or getting wasted, and to be honest, they're already way more addicted to sugar, and nicotine won't kill my children. I think you probably find that general sentiment across the board. In terms of like, well, if you found out your kid was vaping, would you be that bent out of shape? I mean, coming from a vapor's perspective, knowing what we know, I certainly would be a lot more relieved if I found out my kid was vaping than if they were smoking cigarettes or doing something that was a little bit more illicit and potentially really harmful to their well-being going forward, like, particular drugs, that are out there on the market. I mean, the reality is that vaping is illegal for kids, and I think you're going to find that argument sort of being one of the things that, adults will argue against, why am I losing all my rights or losing all of my ability to have the freedom to choose vaping, because they're pinning it on the kids and saying, well, it's because the kids are getting their hands on this stuff. And then the typical response will come back and they'll say, well, it's illegal for them to do it anyway. I mean, if they're getting their hands on it, then you have to find out how to narrow those channels so that they can't get their hands. And they're going to get it anyway. It doesn't matter what happens or what you do. They're still going to get it. But yeah, no, I agree. I'm not saying that. I certainly don't endorse children vaping, like just picking it up and doing it if they were never doing anything before. But I'm saying, but if you found out that if that's the worst thing your kid did, I'm certainly wouldn't flip a lid too much. You just become a parent at that point. More Muppets and coffee and Juuls. Truth. This is Truth Initiative. Here, now they're using animals and news reporters. Animal March Against Juul. More Muppets. I think I saw this one.
Yeah, that's the old one. Yeah.
Yeah, where they were acting like the kid was super stoned because he vaped or something. Because it doesn't, you're less motivated. What is that supposed to be?
I don't know. Is that from fucking God,
So
Mad Max.
that was started. It was actually a video that they put out. It was a rock video that they put out a year and a half, 2 years ago, roughly. And they're basically it's like nicotine is a devil type thing. I actually took that image and flipped it a little bit and took the plus nicotine and put it above his head and
Okay.
gave it to a few people in the industry, and they actually used it for, hey, this is actually what they're using as things. So, yeah, it was actual video that they put out. It was a rock video.
Oh, okay. Well, again, they just put all this here. Remember this one? This one was all over Twitter for quite some time. They're telling you don't vape, but then they're driving around with stuff with like lollipops and cake pops and all kinds of stuff. Escape the vape. Here you go.
Baby.
Let's make candy just shoot out the friggin' drip tip of your vape. Why wouldn't a kid want to try it? The whole point of this article was to say that you can blame the vaping community on supposedly being this catalyst that contributed to enticing kids to vape based on how bottles were labeled or how flavors were identified or whatever, marketed imagery, tried to help push product. And it's these anti-vape groups that accuse us of all that, but then they turn around and then they just throw the same imagery into their anti-vaping campaign. And that's, to me, I just think that's hypocritical. I mean, if you're going to make vaping look totally dangerous, like why don't you have like a picture of a 15-year-old with his skull wide open with like his brain, just pouring onto the ground, like with the snakes and stuff climbing. Like scare them straight, if you're gonna try to scare them. Don't make it look inviting, right?
Bingo.
So anyway, you get the idea. It's all over, and I just think it's hypocritical at best. So there you have it. There was your visual article for the evening. All right, now we're moving on to another foreign country.
Oh man, I was looking forward to some pop-ups. I thought there was going to be some pop-ups.
No, unfortunately, we got lucky. We got lucky on that one. I don't know how we managed to sneak through with that one. This one is about Mexico. So I don't know if anybody knows about what the vaping regulations are in down south south of the border. But basically, there's a ban on vaping in Mexico. You're not allowed to import or bring in any vape products of any kind. I don't know how people are managing down there. All I can tell you is that that the law or the ban on vaping in Mexico is not very heavily enforced. So there's still quite a few people that are vaping there, even though they have a ban. So I think the next thing that the legislators wanted to enact was basically an import ban on the new product that we talked about last week, or at least the more current product that's on the market, are these heat not burn products like IQOS that are getting ready to come out or are already out. So a bunch of legislators tried to put together basically some legislation that would ban the import of IQOS and other heat not burn type products. However, the Mexican Supreme Court did not enforce the ban. So on July 16th, Mexico's Supreme Court ruled that heated tobacco products, HTPs, we'll call them moving forward, will be exempt from a February 2020 presidential decree that bans the importation of e-cigarettes, or what we affectionately call ENDS, electronic nicotine delivery systems. So they're gonna basically make this element exempt, although they're still going to enforce an import ban on flavored e-liquid or any other vape products coming into Mexico. So for anybody who was in Mexico that is a supporter of tobacco harm reduction, they saw this as a massive victory. Because even though they might not be able to get imported vape products into their country, they're still able to get this method, which by what most claims are stating is that this will be a much healthier alternative for people who are trying to get off of smoking or want to get away from smoking. This will be a legal, viable methodology of THR in the country. Most of the legislators that are basically vehemently against vaping in general, they were completely upset that this ruling went through because this particular contingent is against not only vaping but all other forms of tobacco harm reduction, which is what this is, and they did not want this stuff coming into their country. Obviously, no one is going after the primary culprit, which is cigarettes.
Cigarette.
So the fatal blow to this particular ban proposal, it was found out and it got leaked that one of the lawyers working on the documentation to put this ban together, they worked for a Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids. So it was basically Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids, who we all know is funded by Bloomberg Philanthropies, right? So that's where their money comes from. And so basically, once it leaked out that Bloomberg's money and Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids lawyers were working on this document, the president of Mexico was extremely embarrassed because he is not a fan of having foreign NGOs and agents helping to kind of write the book on legislation in Mexico. So they think that once that information had leaked out to the general public, that's why this ban was unable to have been enforced, or at least the Supreme Court ruled that there would be an exemption on these particular items. The Mexican health officials think that access to heated tobacco products technology will drive down the 47,000 smoking deaths per year in Mexico. So that's their number. 47,000 people annually die from smoking-related diseases and illnesses. So the advocates think that if people in Mexico have access to these products, that it should lower that number significantly. And the other thing that this reversal is that it removed any loopholes that were previously being used to get these products into the country. So this basically makes them fully legal, and then they can be imported without any question. So it doesn't put anybody in any compromising situation or position to use heated tobacco products. However, still moving forward, flavored e-liquids will still be under a ban, but even though the policy is pretty much loosely enforced. So you'd be interested to know that around 1.2 million citizens in Mexico currently use vapor products to stay away from smoking. So even though there's a ban, it's still finding its way in. But at least this one won't be fettered or restricted in any way, shape, or form. So I didn't know that. I didn't know there was roughly about 1.2 million Mexican citizens, residents using vapor products quite regularly.
Yeah, there's some beautiful mods coming out of there too. There's some really beautiful mods.
Right, but it doesn't specify that there's any sort of a restriction or a ban on any of that if it exists within the country. Yeah. If it's procured or if it's manufactured or made within Mexico or anything like that, I think that's why they can still easily get to vaping products. It's about stuff coming from outside that's maybe made in the United States, coming in from Europe, whatever. I'm sure there's all kinds of backdoor channels. If you pay a federale, enough, he's going to turn a blind eye, and he's probably going to let anything in anyway. My takeaway on this particular article, which doesn't impact us at all, it's just maybe more some insight onto exactly what's going on in other countries around the globe. I said, despite my feelings on IQOS, I do have respect for the fact that it is a form of tobacco harm reduction, and studies show that it's about 75% safer than smoking combustible cigarettes. I just see it as a gut punch for Bloomberg, Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids, and other anti-vaping zealots, because it's exactly these types of things that they want to keep from the general public and having access to get away from smoking regular cigarettes, which is basically the one thing that they never really go after in the least. All right, and last but not least, and this one was today, I would say to everybody, this came from CASA. I don't know who's paying attention to CASA. We talk about them all the time. Windsor, California, John's wonderful state.
Windsor.
I don't know anything about Windsor. John, can you comment on what kind of a county Windsor is?
It is a really small town, if I remember correctly. I mean, tiny, tiny town. But I'm going to check. While you're doing that.
All right. So basically, they're throwing up some documentation or a proposal to institute an all-out total vaping sales ban within Windsor, California. I don't know that we have any viewers from Windsor, California.
27,000 people live in
Yeah.
Windsor, California.
Okay. So not that many. It's a pretty small town. So they're trying to put a bill on the table. As a matter of fact, it's so funny that most of the stuff that I finally catch or I catch wind of, it seems as though all the public hearings are the same day I get notification that it's going on. So the Windsor City Council is considering an ordinance that would ban the sale of vapor products and other flavored low-risk tobacco products. This proposal is likely being amended, and the date for a public hearing is pending. So this may have been early on information, but they did have an open Zoom call today. They did encourage people to try to get their letters in before noon today. I know we're well past that time frame. But if you go on CASA, they give you the email address for which you can you can send this prescribed letter. Basically, you can just copy this, put it in an email to that email address, and send off your commentary. You can add your own if you'd like to. But even though the window may have been shut on this, again, this was scheduled for today. They said the public is encouraged to submit written comments to the council by noon on the day of the meeting, which I believe somewhere it said 8/4 right here. First reading and public hearing, Wednesday, August 4th. That was today.
Today.
At 6 p.m. California time. So we're beyond that now. I think it's still worth a shot. Go ahead and copy the content of this particular mailing and send it over to the town council. Flood them with copies of the letter. And just bog down that email server. That was the latest one that was out there. So I encourage anybody from the Windsor, California area, keep your eye on this one. I don't know how fast or rapidly it will advance. Hopefully Casal will keep us updated on that one. But that, my friends, is your 3 articles for the evening. I'm giving you back 23 minutes of your life for the remainder of the show.
Thank you, Tim, for educating us all with the advocacy.
You are quite welcome. Let me stop sharing.
Stop sharing. Stop sharing, Tim. Stop sharing that. What are you rolling up? A doobie over there, Daniel? I'm just kidding you.
I don't think you saw my comments as like Tim was reading. I'm like he's got this process.
Dead rabbit.
Like it's full cut, fluff, snip, fluff, juice test, cap juice, vape. I'm sure that's your process.
Where are you reading this? I didn't see. Was it in the comments? Chat. Oh, I didn't. I wasn't reading the chat. I apologize.
Yeah, no. I put it in the comments while you were talking.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Apparently, Daniel's not paying attention.
I was talking and not reading.
I was listening to Tim, but I was not checking the chat.
As you were doing that, I was thinking to myself, we have the cleaning segment we're going to talk about now, and you were doing it while Tim was doing the fucking news, and you could have went through the breakdown, Daniel, of what you were doing.
Couldn't wait, man. The flavor wasn't good. All day I've been waiting to do that. So I was like, I'll just listen to Tim. I can explain it though. Very easy.
Yeah, no, I think every one of us has a different process of the way they go about cleaning their RDAs and their tanks and their RTAs. The guy down on the bottom right was supposed to do a video, but he's been busy. I'm gonna be nice to him. Sorry, I had to cough there. But we'll get to doing a video on it. But we're just going to go through our own little processes, and we'll start with Timmy Boy there. Tim, how do you clean your RDA?
Well, RDAs are probably for me one of the easiest ones to clean. RTAs are a whole nother ball of wax. There's a lot more shit to take apart. RDAs, I keep it pretty simple. So basically, what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and pull the cotton. Then in terms of this first layer of cleaning, what I'll do typically is I'll go ahead and I'll just dry burn the coils off, get that little crusty crap going on top. One thing that I've stopped doing, and I tell people this all the time, is don't do the burn off your coils, throw it under cold water right away, then heat up your coil. You do that, and I know I've seen people show that in videos on YouTube. That typically will change the molecular consistency of the coil that you're using by heating it up really fast and then like throwing it under cold water and cooling it down really fast. More than likely, you're going to shorten the lifespan of that coil. So
Brittle,
if
you make
you
it brittle.
yeah, if you are going to use a method similar to that, I would recommend using like at best like maybe warmer than lukewarm water if you like to use that, just so that way you don't have that extreme heat up and cool down. But what I'll typically do is I'll go ahead and I'll burn off my coils, kind of let them cool down, then take them over and put them under water, and then I'll use some kind of a brush of some kind to kind of just. I actually got these little pipe cleaner kind of things for hummingbird feeders because they're like a perfect diameter to go inside like a 3 millimeter coil or something like that, and I'll just get all the gnarly Klingons off the coils at that point, and then I'll just sort of just kind of wash it down with cold water or whatever and a brush and dry it all, pat dry it, and set it to the side. That's me.
Yeah. None of you guys, I had one, I stopped using it, but none of you guys are using an ultrasonic cleaner, right?
I have one.
Are you still using it, Tim? You guys still using it?
Negative Ghost Rider.
I knew he was going to say that Ghost Rider. I just knew it. As soon as he said negative, I was waiting for the second part of that statement. Are you going to pull one? I mean, they're all the same to me. It seems like if you go over to Amazon.com and type in ultrasonic cleaner, they all seem to be about the same price. I think one of the reviewers that I watched, things to look for, a shutoff timer is important. So if it's something you don't want running all the time, because some of them, I guess some of them don't have a cutoff. So I guess you can set it to run for 2 hours and shut off. So, he suggested to make sure you look for one that has some sort of timer on it that you can set to run for, an hour and shut off. And this is one. I don't know if it's good or if it's not good, but dude, every single one of them had like 4.5 to 5 stars. So it's like impossible to say this one's the best one. So I don't have one. If anybody else out there in chat that has one or has this specific one that I'm showing right now, let us know and let us know how you guys like them. Because I think some of the key things that I remembered from a prior older review of this product, one of these products, was the noise. So I guess they're loud. Some of them are really loud. Tim, is yours? It's
not that bad. I mean, it's sort of like you can hear it humming or whatever, but it's not annoying. It's no worse than having a fan on behind you or something like that.
Yeah, I guess some of them are really loud, and I guess that was one of the key things to look into, I should say, and the basket size. The basket size, and I started thinking to myself, why are you concerned? How many damn things you putting in there? Maybe I go maybe 2 RDAs a week, and that's it. I don't use any of my other stuff unless I specifically want to vape off the whatever RDA. I'll grab it. But you're not putting more than 2 in there, right?
No, I'm doing maybe 3, but like I'll use it specifically when I have like old stuff that I'm going to take out of commission for a little while. Like maybe I was using, my Zeus RTA and my Oxfa RTA, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to park those for a little while because I'm going to switch to something else. And then I'll use that opportunity to actually kind of like slow clean those and really get down, deep into cleaning those. But if it's something that's I'm live with, I'm not going to. No,
I'm kind of curious. I am Sam. You do it once a month. It makes sense. If I owned one of those, it'd probably be like Tim is saying, that deep clean maybe once a month. Just throw all your shit in there. But do you notice the difference in flavor when you've cleaned it in the ultrasonic cleaner, or just cleaning it over the sink? Getting some of the old e-liquids off of there, and some of maybe a toothbrush. Because most of the time what I do is I get a little Tupperware bowl, I put hot water in it, 1 little drop of dishwashing soap, and I have an old toothbrush. I take my stuff apart, I drop it in there, and I start taking each piece out and cleaning it. I've noticed with the toothbrush, I keep my coils in. Tim, you keep your coils in when you put it in the ultrasonic cleaner, or do you
Yeah,
take?
I don't take them out. No, I
Right,
just leave it
yeah.
all hooked
So
up.
you
Why
can get
bother?
all those little its and bitsy pieces that are stuck to the coil off of there using the ultrasonic cleaner, and because I'll scrape those, not scrape them, but I'll scrub those coils with the toothbrush and try to get. What I've noticed is I always try to get a lot of that shit that's along the base, the what do you call it? The deck.
Yeah,
That's especially right about underneath the deck, because that seems like that's where we get a lot of our nasty flavor is from that stuff that's stuck to the deck itself on the bottom. Especially if you have like a drop or something like that, you have a lot of buildup along those arms on the bottom of them,
hmm
you can get that into your cotton. So I just kind of curious if if you notice the difference, a cleaner vape. I don't know. I want to buy one. It makes sense that to have one of these and do what like he's saying, maybe like once a month, just kind of do a nice deep cleaning with all that stuff. What else has anybody else got in there? Brian's.
yeah. Daniel's down on the bottom, and he's blocked by all the comments that are popping
Oh
up.
yeah, he's there. Hold on.
He's peeking through.
Boom. There he is.
What do you use to clean your stuff, Daniel?
We just saw. He grabbed
Did
a
he
bowl
show
of
his? Did he
cereal.
show? I
No,
didn't.
no, no,
Oh,
no,
cereal.
no. That's just a lazy clean. For a deep clean, I use my hands
Yeah.
because that works. And I use hands. Then I get my little bowls that I also use for dips, and I put them in there with either like just a cleaning solution, soap and water,
Right.
and let them sit. And then I let them dry. Clean them in just water. Let them sit in water, and then that's it. And I've used the ultra cleaners, whatever Sonics, and I've noticed it's the same. Like it's much easier doing it with the cleaner because you just throw it in, but whatever.
Yeah, I
That's
can
just
see.
this one's
Yeah,
just real quick.
yeah.
Just
I can
clean the
see.
coil and the
Yeah,
addy.
just drop it in there. Yeah, I saw you doing that. I thought first you were going to have a bowl of cereal, and then I saw you dip your oils in there. I was like, all right, he's not eating cereal. I thought that you're going to be the
This
first one.
bowl,
Yeah,
that is not a cereal bowl.
that's a cereal bowl to me.
Now that's like a.
No,
That's like a. An
salsa.
eight. Yeah, it's like an Asian sauce bowl.
This
Uh,
is
I
this
don't
is
eat
a
more.
30 milliliter.
I don't eat more than that in cereal a day.
Yeah, it's not that big of a
I
bowl.
would eat about 15, 20
Yeah.
bowls of these.
Well, you get to 53, and we'll see how many bowls of cereal you eat. No, yeah, no, I can see the benefits of having the ultrasonic cleaner, especially if you want to keep those coils, get a lot of that gunk and stuff off the coils, because that's what I heard the benefit is with those things. It really cleans your coils that you leave on the RDA.
That's what I would be gunning for with that, is to try to get as much garbage out of the coil that would otherwise cause it to stay kind of like shit you can't get to with a toothbrush, or stuff you can't get to with any kind of another
Yeah.
an average scrubbing device.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait,
Yeah, go
What
ahead.
I like when you get the coils, I like builders that like they clean it before they ship it, so it's pre-cleaned, so it gets rid of any kind of hand flavor or
Oils and
anything
stuff.
oils. Yeah, I like that.
So we got like 12 minutes left, and since you two weren't here in the beginning, we'll go ahead and jump to you guys and ask Brian, what are you pairing? What are you pairing with your drinks and your liquids? What are you putting together? What combination are you putting together?
Oh gosh.
You drink ciders, so I'm kind of curious.
Yeah. So I usually do some sort of fruit with my ciders, like usually watermelons or like apples or something like that. I found what doesn't go good with it, and I stick away from that. You kind of find that the hard way, but usually fruits is usually good with ciders. It's kind of like with kind of like what you have. So let's coffee for instance, like more of the cream stuff would actually go well with it, and bakeries and stuff like that. But pops and stuff like that, it kind of depends on what you drink. But for me, like I used to do fruits now because of ciders. I'm still a big dessert person, but with that, it's usually water or coffee. It goes well with.
All right, what I'm gonna throw you a curveball here because me and Tim were thinking about this one. What are you vaping if you're eating a steak?
So with that, I usually do like an
I knew he
MTL
does.
stick, something like that, and that's going to be more of. I would actually go with tobacco, like a higher
Tobacco
nick
with your
strength
steak?
tobacco.
With your steak?
Hmm.
Huh. How about you, Daniel? What are you vaping with your steak, Daniel?
Well,
Well,
he's a
I,
DIYer, so
I,
he's gonna have a lot
yeah.
more knowledge than us.
So for me, I just vape whatever I'm in the mood for. So whatever I feel like I mix. But I with like a steak, I mean with food and like beer and like liquor, I like
No.
custards. It
Oh,
it kind of the saltiness or the bitterness with the sweetness and the creaminess kind of mix. But I'm always vaping fruity stuff, so I don't know. And I don't really drink anymore, so I just vape everything.
yeah. You don't mix it. Well, what do you mix it with your coffee in the morning? You dessert,
Uh,
pastry.
I yeah, I usually love danishes, like strawberry
Yeah.
danishes,
Yeah.
or like donuts,
Yeah. Donuts,
custards.
custards.
Hazelnut. There's a really good flavor company that makes hazelnut, so I like putting a couple drops of that in my coffee. Um, yeah, yeah, custards are really good, man, with everything.
Yeah. And then me and Tim were talking about the rate review channels having a little bit of a downward slump. If you go and look, a lot of the channels are not getting the views that they used to get. You guys have any
Mhm.
insight on what you think is causing that?
Well, it's because companies are not shipping anything really right now.
It's all new products. These are new products these guys are reviewing.
They are, and they're still
Yeah,
getting bad ones.
they're barely getting 1,000 of them.
I'm pretty sure that I don't want to say too much, but I'm pretty sure it has to do with like a YouTube type thing. I'm pretty sure they control what we see and what we don't. A lot of nights I don't get the notification. Like tonight, I haven't gotten a notification for Sample Box. So
Yeah, but
yeah.
I think after you've watched these guys, you know their rhythm, their routine. They're posting on certain days. They're usually posting at certain times. Something somebody threw out in a DM, and I'm not going to say who it was, but personalities. Do you think that people are just burned out on the personalities of these individuals that are doing these reviews? They're just done.
I mean, unless if it's Rip Trippers, no.
Unless it's Rip. Rip is the only one that's still doing over 40,000 views. So
I mean, good for him,
you
but
can't.
I
Yeah,
mean, their personalities are why I watch, and how
yeah,
they do videos is why I watch. You
yeah.
know, um,
Well, the reason I say it's kind of doesn't make any sense because Mike is big. Mike is
mhm.
is he's the face of vaping pretty much as far as YouTube reviewers, and his videos of well are in the tank. They're in the 1,000 to 4,000 range. They're not 15,000, 25,000 anymore. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go. When you're talking, I'm gonna look up Grims. I didn't even think about looking up Grims.
Yeah,
Grims
Grim
channel.
just did a Snowcap Mods
Right. He's got
Avalanche
this.
review.
He just did. Let's see here. His new. Yeah, he did a Squonker. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
I just ordered that one. Yeah.
the Avalanche. Yeah, and he posted a day ago, and
Hmm.
he's at 4.4K views. So 4,400 views. The one prior to that, which was 2 weeks ago, which was the Vitofo Spirit BF 24 mil, and that did 7K. So he's down too.
Well, maybe Brian can help with this, and because at my shop, a huge chunk are disposables and pods only, mostly disposables. Who, besides what is it, Mountain Vapors, Ryan Hall, whatever, the Bulls, whatever it's called now, no one does disposable reviews because they're kind of pointless, honestly. Uh, Maybe that's a huge chunk. I don't
Yeah.
know. I watch casually, but I mean, a lot. I'll be honest. 99% of products coming out don't intrigue me. Uh, obviously, because I'm a squonker,
Yeah.
So-
a squonker RDA guy. So like,
Wonkin's dead.
Yeah, well,
Squonking.
Daniel, so a lot of that, yes, they have a lot of people have turned to disposables and simple fill stuff like pod mods, refillable stuff. Like, I'll give you some examples of like pod mods that I have.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It spans
You know?
the gamut. Yeah.
Yeah, and people use disposables a lot. Easy to hide and like easy to bring around. You don't have to charge it. You can grab a second one, just open it up if you ever need to. And Ryan Hall is actually fun to watch. But anyways, so that's changed over the years, and a lot of it had to do with accessibility and ease of use. Nobody had to relearn anything; they can just grab it and go, and off they went. So we were stuck in this limbo for a while of people who wanted to learn versus people that wanted to just have something simple. Like I just want to grab it and want it to work. And that was always a battle with new people, is showing them how to change a coil, showing them how to use their devices. That was a lengthy process sometimes. Like, hey, I'm just going to set it for you. It's primed, it's ready to go. You can just grab it and use it. Come back here if you have questions or whatever. Like, just fill your tank. Just keep doing that.
Yeah.
And I learned how to lock people's screens for them. They just power it on, power it off, and that's it. Simple as that. Now, the transition to where it is now, like you were talking about, Daniel, is now a lot of shops are turning into that disposable market, the simple market, and so that. Well, that in turn is going to make it so the market's actually very limited because you can only have certain flavors. Only certain flavors can actually pop at a higher wattage versus lower wattage, and you can only get certain notes at a lower wattage versus higher wattage. Take a bakery juice that you have, and you put it at a low wattage, like 20 watts, Daniel, on your squonker, and then put a different RDA on it, like just a single coil RDA, do like a 1.4 ohm at like 15 watts max, and vape that for a while, and then switch over, same juice, switch over to an RDA, dual core RDA at like, we'll just say 70 to 80 watts. You'll notice that the notes are different. And that's why in that market of the simple devices now, that the juices can only be a certain kind because the notes will only be so much. So that being said, you're always going to have the green apples or fruits, the simple bakeries, and like a lemon cake, the strawberry, like a strawberry bakery. You can have your coffee, you can have your tobacco, and so that. Like that's going to be the simple flavor, simple as that. So with all that being said, there's all going to be, when you create your line of disposables, there can only be certain flavors. Simple. Okay. Now, when there's only certain flavors, only certain companies that are making it, you have a very limited amount of devices you can get. So that right there is going to limit your shops. That's going to limit your people that are using it and all that stuff. And so people are going to know what they want. They're going to go and grab their stuff and leave, and off they go. So that's kind of an explanation of. I know it's a little long-winded, but it's there's a valid points there. So yeah, that's kind of why the shops are the way they are. You'll notice that how slow they are now. You don't have the hangouts like you used to. You don't have the groups like you used to. People come get them. It's basically the whole Jeff Dunham thing. Get your shit and leave. That's really what it's about now.
Right.
Yeah, Halls are down too. His are down. He's gone from shit. Let me think here. Let's see here. Yeah, he's gone from like 132K, 53K to down to. He's still doing very well. He's still doing 14K. Then a week ago, his video.
His vlogs. I mean, he deleted 95% of his videos too.
Yeah.
So that didn't help, and I think he lost a lot of subscribers because of that. I don't know.
But people delete their videos because they don't want to get strikes anymore. That's what that's what that's coming down to.
Yeah.
But he literally had vlogs, like 100%, like literally no vaping in it, and and his was my favorite because it wasn't really about vaping. It was just lifestyle. I liked it.
Well, that's the thing is right now I'm gonna just go ahead and just do a double check with something here real quick, but
Make it quick.
I'm gonna check into this first before I speak on it. So give me a second on that.
Yeah, it just seems like his are down too. There, he's down to 8,000, 10,000. He kind of peaks every now and then at 14,000, but he's pretty much right at that 10 to 10 to 9,000 range, and
Yeah.
that's big. That's big from going from 171K, 53K, 195K, 49K, 508K views. And then, I mean, I don't know. It's just
Wasn't
weird.
he
I just
third
found it
too?
weird.
Wasn't he third behind Rip Trippers and Indoor Smokers for most subs? Didn't he have
Yeah,
like half a million?
He has 661,000 followers. So, yeah, Rip's over 1 million.
Wow.
Yeah, Rip has over 1 million. I think Rip's is 1.1 million or something like that, or 1.4.
And Grim only has like 395 something.
Right. Yeah, I think it's Rip, Mike, and then Hall. I think is it your top three as far as Rip has 1.3 million, 1.33 million subscribers.
How much does Mike have? I thought Mike only had 300.
No, Mike's up there.
Oh, he's blown up. Gee.
Yeah, Mike's been up for quite some time. He took over second place. Oh no, actually, well, he's 364.
Yeah.
And
Dash Vapes was up there too.
He deleted a lot of videos because I know that number is a lot smaller than it was because he's down to 832 videos and he had way more than that. So he has removed a lot of videos himself. Yeah, I think it's him. Yeah, it's Rip, him. Well, actually, it's Rip Hall and then him. So,
well, here's one thing on like the Smoke Free Radio Network. There's I don't think it's the whole thing, but I'm still gonna check into it and see. But there's one of the shows in there is actually leaving right now, and I don't know if it's gonna be like so different days of the week they have different shows, and I don't know if it's the whole thing or what. But I mean that'd be a bad loss too. I mean I think it's just because viewership, maybe sponsorship could be another thing too, because they have all their stuff on iTunes and Spotify and all that stuff. It's actually good to listen to. They are longer shows, but I mean it does help with
well, yeah, as a manufacturer, if I start seeing 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 videos or views, I'm not sending them a product.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you don't have product to review, I mean, then there's nothing to really tune in for.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're getting something from a company, say Smock or whatever, and you post a video and you're doing no more views than the average guy that's posting a review on YouTube, then why would they send you anything? I just find it really weird.
The vaping show with the ST and Fagan and all them. They were on yesterday or the day before, and they were talking about how all three of them are just not getting any products besides pod mods. Pretty much just pod mod.
Yeah.
Reaper in the house. Reaper in the house.
Who's that?
Matthew's hanging out in the shadows again.
What's happening, Matt?
Hey, Matthew.
You came in just in time. The show's ending.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Anything else you guys want to touch on before we head on out of here?
I got nothing.
I got nothing.
Nothing. I got nothing.
All right, guys. Thank you, everybody in chat, for joining us tonight. I hope you learned something. I don't know. Well, hopefully, I would assume we taught that. Well, Tim, you always learn something with Tim. Tim's always
got valuable information to share.
Yeah, he's bringing you valuable information. Well, we'll see everybody next week, same time, same place, same channel. Everybody say goodbye.
Goodbye. Daniel's back next week, everybody. Squawk Man Dan.
Yeah, Daniel will be back next week to replace Tom. Tom will be gone for 2 weeks, and we'll see. We'll give him. I'm going to give him homework. I'm going to give him homework for next week. So
there you go.
Yeah. We'll work something out. We'll make you do something.
Cool.
A little song and dance. All right, guys, we're out of here. We'll see everybody next week. Peace out.
Small.